Have you ever wondered what sparked the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 to 1948? The seeds of this conflict were sown in the throes of the British Indian Empire's dissolution. The year was 1947, a time of great upheaval and change. The partition of India, a monumental event, led to the creation of two separate nations, India and Pakistan. However, the birth of these nations was not without its complications. Among these was the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. Ruled by a Hindu Maharaja but populated by a Muslim majority, it was a geopolitical hot potato. Both India and Pakistan coveted it. The Maharaja, Hari Singh, despite immense pressure, initially chose to remain independent, further fueling the tensions. The struggle for control over this strategically located region, coupled with the uncertainty and chaos of partition, ignited the fuse of conflict. Thus, the stage was set for a conflict that would shape the dynamics of the Indian subcontinent for decades to come. So, how did a dispute over a princely state escalate into a full-blown war? Well, it all began with a sudden invasion. Pashtun tribesmen from Pakistan, emboldened and armed, swept into the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. This was not a simple land grab, it was a complex mesh of political ambitions and historical grudges. Jammu and Kashmir, under the rule of Maharaja Hari Singh, was at a crossroads. The Maharaja had originally chosen to remain independent during the partition of British India. But the invasion forced his hand. He had to pick a side, and fast. India, on the other hand, was watching these events unfold with growing concern. The invasion was a direct challenge, a provocation that could not be ignored. Yet India's intervention wasn't automatic. There was a condition. Maharaja Hari Singh would have to accede to India, effectively making Jammu and Kashmir a part of the Indian Union. So the Maharaja made his choice. He signed the instrument of accession and India entered the fray. Indian troops were airlifted to Srinagar, the capital of Jammu and Kashmir, marking the official beginning of military intervention. Caught in a whirlwind of political maneuvering and military aggression, Jammu and Kashmir became the battleground for the first Indo-Pakistani War. Once the war broke out, how did it proceed and what were its key turning points? The Indo-Pakistani War of 47 to 48, also known as the First Kashmir War, was a tumultuous period marked by significant events and turning points. In the early stages of the war, the Pakistani tribesmen, with their audacious spirit, managed to gain the upper hand. They stormed through the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, capturing significant territory. However, this initial success was short-lived. The Indian forces, determined and well-equipped, launched an effective counterattack. The Indian counteroffensive turned the tide of the war. Indian troops managed to regain lost ground and even pushed into Pakistani-held territory. This shift in momentum was a major turning point in the war, one that altered the course of the conflict. But the war was far from over. It soon morphed into a stalemate, with both sides unable to make significant advancements. This deadlock mirrored the overarching political impasse, showcasing the grim reality of a region torn apart by political disputes. The war's impact on the ground situation in Jammu and Kashmir was profound. It resulted in significant loss of life and displacement of people, painting a harrowing picture of the human cost of war. It also set the stage for the contentious relationship between India and Pakistan that persists to this day. The war, marked by strategic victories and standstills, painted a grim picture of the human cost of political disputes. The war ended, but what did it leave behind? The Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 to 1948 concluded with a United Nations-mediated ceasefire in January 1948. However, the cessation of combat did not mean an end to the conflict. Lingering territorial disputes over the regions of Jammu and Kashmir persisted, casting long shadows over Indo-Pakistani relations for decades to come. It was not just the political landscape that was forever altered. The war left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of the people in these regions. The bitterness of separation, the trauma of violence, and the longing for peace became interwoven into the fabric of their lives. In the grand scheme of things, this war served as a stark reminder of the long-lasting implications of historical events. It demonstrated how the seeds of discord sown in the past can sprout into conflicts that last generations. Even today, the echoes of the 1947 to 1948 war continue to reverberate in the Indo-Pakistani relationship, reminding us of the enduring impact of historical events.